Okay, this is going to be 3 or probably way more because I talk too much. But 3 ways or 3 non-negotiables for progressing at the gym. So, first and foremost, this is mostly for people who are trying to get started, but there are going to be some tidbits in here for people who are more consistent than others, who need help with just being more consistent at the gym. And so I'm going to throw around a couple terms. So gym or weight room or fitness center or whatever it is. So whatever pertains to you, you just insert that piece. So 3 non-negotiables for progressing in the gym. So first and foremost, you need to start going to the gym. So you need to figure out where you're going to go. And with that, you need to come to the gym with a plan. And this is the biggest issue that I see with a lot of beginners, as I have. Yeah, I don't know what that is. But anyways, I see athletes or individuals who don't have a plan when they go into the gym. And so every time they go, it's this big, I don't know what's going on here. It's this big, just maybe fear of going because you're not sure what to do. You don't know what to do. Or you're not seeing progress, so it's not motivational to go back to the gym. So you just kind of go in. You might get stuck in doing the same thing that you like all the time, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of downfalls that come from not coming into the gym with a plan pre-prescribed. Now, that can change, and there's different times in your training that coming in with no plan could be beneficial. But for the most part, it's far more beneficial to be coming in with a training plan. Okay, so you need to get a lay of the land. Maybe it's the first time you're going to this gym. You need to get a lay of the land. So you maybe come in with street clothes on and you write down what they have available, or you take a mental note on where everything is located in the facility so you can have an idea where you're going to go and jump around once you get to the facility. Where do you store your clothes? So going to the facility and figuring out, where am I going to put my belongings? And are they safe? So into a cubby or into a locker. And that would be somebody you would ask at the front desk. All right. And so once we have that piece, we can start to construct what we're going to do for the day. So whether that's on your phone or if you're writing it down in a paper journal, I highly recommend, if you're not using any sort of app on your phone, to write it down on a piece of paper. I use Team Builder exclusively as when I train all of my athletes. I think it's an exceptional way to deliver training plans to my athletes or clients. And but for the time being, if you're starting for the first time, write it down on a piece of paper. That way it feels tangible. You can look at it at a glance. You don't have to keep unlocking your phone. I think it's just a little bit more straightforward, especially when it's the first time or the first few times that you're trying to get back into training or training for the first time, and you're not going to be distracted with all these different social media apps that are popping up on your phone as you're in between training sets or during training sets or whatever it may be. So the training plan. So how do we construct that? I think that's going to be a different video to help with that, because otherwise this video is going to be incredibly long. But figure out what exercises that you like, and then try to figure out what muscles they hit. So if you do a bench press, that's going to be your chest, and obviously auxiliary muscles as well, like triceps and things. But let's just think about main category muscles. So we have, our bench is going to be chest, a lat pull down or a row might be for our back. And, a goblet squat might be for our legs. Maybe more quad dominant, but we just say legs. And so we can kind of construct a list of exercises that we could do in a training session, okay? And if you're really lost, you could start with some machines just to feel like you're getting comfortable with showing up, getting some sort of training in, and then, progressing, okay? But we're going to move on beyond machines, and we'll talk all about that later on in another video. But so I would pick some exercises. Let's say you picked 6 exercises. Let's say I started with the big muscle group. I did a goblet squat or a lunge, and then I'm going to do a bench press, whether it's dumbbell or barbell, and then maybe I'll do a lat pull down, and with that lat pull down, maybe I do a plank for core. And then after that, maybe I want to work on my arms. So I do a biceps and triceps. And there we go. That's your training for the day. We did, a couple of large muscle groups, compound. We did some things that we liked. We didn't hate it too much. And we also didn't do a crazy amount of weights. We didn't do a ton of sets. And we're not incredibly sore, so we can come back to training tomorrow or the day after and feel like we want to go back to the gym because we didn't torture ourselves. We're not so sore that we're debilitated and we can't go back. And all those things. So those are that is the first non-negotiable is you need to at least come in with an idea of how many exercises you're going to do, what exercises you want to do. And that way you're not just falling victim to doing whatever you want when you go, and that usually ends up leading to doing the same thing every single time you go and then wondering why you're not getting the results that you want. Okay. So that topic is huge, and we could keep going further on that. But we're going to jump to number 2. And number 2 falls in line with number 3. Number 2 is writing down your training. So once you've written down the exercises that you want to do, now you need to figure out, how many sets and reps I'm going to do. For a beginner, I would start with going with 2 sets, 10 reps, call it a day. 2 sets of 10, you get 20 reps there for the exercise. You get a little bit more time while doing the exercise with not a ton of weight associated with it. And you can start to learn how to do the movement and feel like you're getting a rhythm and all those things. If you're working with really high reps and you're like, really small reps, and you're just saying, I really just need to get strong. I want to fast forward. I want to progress quicker. It's not going to work out well. You're going to get sore. You're going to not want to come back. Or hurt yourself. And you're probably not lifting with the best technique. And with that, you're not getting the motor learning with a higher rep range, which is really important to be working on, especially early. So you have to write down your training. Some things that I recommend you write down. So the date, the day of the week. It's really awesome to look back at your training if you log hours of sleep that night. So if you log hours of sleep and you come in and you say, I slept 8 hours, and then you're going to rank your mood or desire to train. Out of 10, you can say, today's at 8 out of 10. And you can start to draw conclusions. So this is this is a deeper piece of being able to improve your ability to get to the gym. But you'll probably find out the better you sleep, the more consistent you're eating, the more willingness and the stronger desire you have to continue to go to the gym. So that is a key piece. That's like the extra stuff to keep consistency in the gym. But writing down and logging those things. So if you're trying to lose body weight, you could weigh yourself. This gets in the weeds a little bit. But if you are, peaking in your body fat right now, it might be motivational to see you dropping weight. So, how many hours of sleep that you got, your willingness on a scale of 1 to 10 to train. I would write down soreness potentially as well. So how sore you are on a scale of 1 to 10. And then your body weight for the day. And that would be a nice consistent thing, because in 2 months from now, 3 months from now, from a year from now, you can go back and it's really powerful information to see, I used to be, 280 last July. And now, 7 months later, I'm 220. And I used to get 5 hours of sleep every night, and now I've been getting 7.5 consistently. And it's all about, I don't know if the word is gamifying or gamification. It's putting it into a way where you can see visible progress versus just going off on, the intangibles. So if you're writing that down, it's super nice to be able to look back on and reflect on. And also, let's say your training, starts to go in the opposite direction that you want, or you fall off. You can look back and say, wow, I used to be 220. And now I'm back up to 250 for whatever reason. I got to get back on track. That was so awesome. I remember how I felt, when I was 220, or whatever it is. So if you do fall off the wagon, it is a motivational piece to get back on. You have this tangible piece that you can reflect on. Okay, so I cannot stress that enough. And with that comes another piece of the training. So you're going to write down all your training, and you're going to log all the weights. So on day 1, I did barbell bench press for 90 pounds. That's the bar. That's 45 pounds plus the extra weight on each side. And then in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you'll start to see, okay, now I'm at, 110. Now I'm at 125. Now I'm at 135. So I got a 45 pound on each side. And so you start to see this progress that, might not seem super significant. The 90 pound start to, 110 doesn't seem that great, but it's like you gained 20 pounds on your bench in, a month and a half. Like, that's huge. The weight still doesn't look like a ton on the bar, and you might be like, wow, that's really not that much weight. But in reality, you did a significant amount more. And if you do the percentage gain from 90 pounds to 110, well, you're starting to look at significant percentage gains. So don't forget to look at your training in that way as well. But if you're not tracking your training, you're probably going to go in and you're going to train based on your mood. So let's say we talked about earlier, you get 6 hours of sleep, you end up still getting to the gym, you don't want to be there, you're 4 out of 10 willingness to train, and it's week 2 and you did 90 pounds on a bench last week. And as the coach, I would say, hey, let's try 95. So that's a 25 on each side. And, you're probably going to say, 90 was tough last week. I did it, but 90 was tough. And you know that because you wrote down your training. Well, in this case, you would not have. And maybe you go, I think I did 90, or maybe I did 95. So you do one of two things. You go and jump to, 95 or 100 maybe. And you thought you did that. And then you fail on it and you go, wow, that's way harder than last week. And in reality, you actually just did 90 pounds last week. Or, you go down in weight. You're like, I'm a little sore today. I don't want to stress my body too much. And you go 80 or 85. And so that's not doing a lot for you because while you've been consistent, you're not progressively loading your body in any way. So you've done less work than last week. So your body is not willing to adapt and say, oh, wow, we need to, grow more muscle tissue, or we need to get our nervous system to fire and recruit muscle tissue more efficiently because there's a bigger demand. The demand has gone down. So you're not really going to get any benefit there. So progression comes with a number one, consistency, but number two, progressively overloading, and not by a lot, but as long as we're adding a little bit at a time, then that's how we do that. So you have to write down your training. You have to. It is truly a non-negotiable. If you're not writing down your training, you're not gonna, because everyone's there for results. So you are there for results. And if you're just going in based on feel every single day, and then you're not going to get results. So they'll work for a little time. Everything works for a short amount of time, but beyond that, beyond the short period of time, once you start to hit a plateau, you're going to be really unmotivated to go. You're not going to have any idea why. You're not going to have any direction. And so the reality is you have to write down your training. You have to. And for a while, personally, I didn't love writing down and logging all these things. I didn't like to log my sleep or my mood, or I started to log my breakfast. So if I was eating beforehand, I'd log that I had eaten something and I how I felt. And that's also more in depth and it's time consuming. So it's not the first and foremost thing that I would try to work on, like writing down your meal. But those things are all really fun to look back on because they give you a look into how you respond to when you do certain things. And then you can start to draw up, is it important that I eat before this? Or is it important that I eat twice before I do this? Or whatever it is. Or, when I do this day and I eat an hour before, I get sick and my stomach feels poor. But anyways, okay, on to number 3. Consistency. Consistency is going to be absolutely one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, for you to get into a rhythm, to begin noticing results, and consistency just kind of compounds on everything we talked about. It's about consistency of writing down your training. It's about consistency with sticking to a plan. It's about consistency of showing up first and foremost. And if you can do those things, then you're going to get results. And the reason why when I work with athletes at the university that I'm at, they see results is a lot of time because they're just far more consistent than they would be in any other situation. So they have to train with me. At least 2 times a week, they're training with me consistently, day in and day out. And over 9 months, let's say that they're on campus with me, they get results. And they get better. And that's in large part, we're doing a lot of the things we talked about. We're logging our weights. We are recording how we feel. We are following a plan that's progressively overloading. We are, and we are consistent. And so I think we do some good training too. That doesn't hurt. But all those, there's fundamental key things that need to take place in order for you to be successful, and consistency is absolutely one of them. And consistency is something that is going to be required for anything that you do that you want to be good at or you want to get results from. If you're a college student and you're consistently doing your homework and you're studying, you're probably going to do pretty well. If you are practicing an instrument, and I don't play an instrument, but I gotta imagine that you need to practice consistently in order to improve. There's a reason why athletes practice day in and day out during the week so that they can improve on their skills and stay in shape and be elite. Everything comes down to consistency. So just like this YouTube channel and me trying to give information that makes sense and is not just me rambling, but I'm going to try to be consistent with uploading videos so that you guys have information that will help you, hopefully, or give you motivation to be more consistent and do some of these things and make yourself a better person. So those are just some things I wanted to touch on. There's definitely way more to go into this than what we talked about here. But if you like this in any way, I guess you can do the thumbs up deal. You can subscribe. I feel like I want to put out a ton of videos. It's just whether or not I can edit them fast enough. And so at this point in the summer, it's probably a lot easier to shoot videos and edit them and all that good stuff. So you'll probably get blasted with all these ramblings over the next couple weeks. And so sorry to drag this on. I'm good, but I'm just gonna try to be pushing out content to make everybody better. And if you like it, then share it and subscribe and thumbs up and all those things. And I think that more people end up seeing it that way. And I just want to be transparent with all the things that I've learned as a college strength and conditioning coach over the 10 plus years that I've been doing it. And basically hone in on where people are not successful and how to become successful, because I don't think it's that hard. And on paper, it's really not that hard. It's a little bit harder to negotiate and navigate through everyone's, work and life and family and all those things. But we'll talk about all those things in further videos. But hopefully we learned we need to, have a plan. We need to figure out our gym. We need to assess what we have available to us. We need to sit down and we need to write out some exercises, even if they're totally bogus. If they're bread and butter exercises that you see everybody do in the gym, I don't know if it's easy to say just try them, but I think that if it doesn't look ridiculous, you should do it. If it doesn't look ridiculous, if you would ever scratch your head when someone did an exercise and you're like, I don't know what the hell that is, chances are you probably don't need to do it. And then you need to log your training. You need to write it down. The more information, the better. And then you just need to try to be consistent. Oh, and I didn't touch on this piece before. So maybe I'll edit the video and put it back in the consistency piece. But consistency is 2 days. All you need to do is 2 days. Um, I think one is truly not enough. Um, but 2 days a week, you can start to get into the realm of getting better. Um, it's going to allow you to avoid uh, too much soreness. It's going to not overwhelm you, and it's going to get you in the habit of trying to get 2 days a week where you're putting aside, about an hour and a half from start to finish, depending on how far away your gym is from getting your gym clothes on to, getting to the gym, to doing your warm-up exercises, which is, as we talked about, just not doing a crazy warm-up, just do really light in the exercises that you pick, and then progressively increase your weight. And then, yeah, and then just 2 weeks or 2 days a week. I'm being distracted by my wife is texting me, and it's popping up on the phone here. So, consistency. If you're doing those three things, that is a great start to getting to where you want to go. And if you have questions, last thing, you can put them in the comments, and I will answer those for sure. And and I'm done rambling. So until next time, I will see you guys later. And I'm always curious on where people are shooting. I have this camera, or this gimbal that's face tracking. So it's actually pretty fancy. I got it for Christmas like a year ago. But this is my living room, and that's just one of our paintings on the wall. I'm sitting at my kitchen island. So there'll probably be a bunch of different places that I shoot from. So look forward to that. And with that, I will stop talking, and I will see you later. Peace.